Liberals need to push back on the dumb ideas that come from their children. The Democrats' problem is the energy of the parties with the young and the young are with the terrorists. That's not good. So talk to your children and remind them you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas. All the shit you do all day, it was all made in America. Your smartphone, your Grubhub, your freedom to bitch about America, that's all American stuff. You tell your phone you want a milkshake and a guy brings it to your house. Please, you couldn't survive a week living in Intifadaville. The reason Gretchen Whitmer looked like a toddler playing peekaboo in the Oval Office is she's afraid of the Liz Bratts of the world and the 12 social justice warriors on the internet and what they might tweet to their 7 followers.
Bill Maher has delivered a sharp and unfiltered critique of what he sees as woke leadership within the Democratic National Committee, DNC. While the party has managed a few local wins, Maher argues it is still struggling to gain momentum on the national stage, and he believes leadership is a major reason why. His commentary is direct, relentless, and aimed squarely at the party's strategy.
But here is the dilemma for Democrats. Their young people, their key constituency, not only don't like their own civilization, they like the wrong one. They actually think Hamas is a liberation movement. They chant for the Houthis. They're chanting, "We will honor our martyrs" at Yale. They're looking for love in all the wrong countries. Someone needs to tell the kids that America is not the society where women basically have no rights, where there's zero freedom of religion and where dissent is punishable by death. Our democracy may be on life support, but we still have elections.
Maher begins by focusing on what he considers a key issue in Democratic messaging, an overly negative portrayal of the United States. According to him, some political and media narratives emphasize criticism to the point where America is consistently framed as the problem, while other global actors are portrayed more sympathetically. He argues that this one-sided perspective can influence younger audiences, shaping how they view their own country over time.
And yet at Coachella this year, when an Irish rap group projected onto screens, "F Israel, free Palestine," got big applause. "Globalize the Intifada" is the catchphrase that's really catching on these days, as if worldwide side bombing and cosplaying Islamic revolutionaries is the answer to our problems. At an AOC Bernie Sanders rally in Idaho last month, someone threw a Palestinian flag over an American flag, and the crowd erupted in approval. What should have happened after that is one of the adults on stage should have told their young, loyal followers, "This is not a symbol of freedom. This is."
He also raises concerns about how complex international issues are presented, particularly in discussions about regions like the Middle East. Maher suggests that oversimplifying conflicts or avoiding uncomfortable facts can lead to a lack of understanding. In his view, emotional narratives may energize audiences in the short term, but they risk creating a misinformed base in the long run.
If the thought leaders in the Democratic Party keep encouraging and not rebuking the idea that America is cringe and the people who run Gaza are great, the Democrats are doomed. Alyssa Slotkin's right. Liberals are weak and woke, especially the white ones, and they indulge all sorts of nonsense from their kids, a pattern that then continues on in the Democratic Party. Last election, it was all the gender stuff, the insistence that men can have babies and such, and now I fear that "we like the is the new that."
Maher further argues that inconsistent messaging from party leadership can create confusion. At times, the tone appears highly critical of the country, while at other moments it shifts toward optimism. These shifts, he suggests, may raise questions about authenticity. For many observers, credibility becomes an issue when messaging appears to change based on political circumstances rather than consistent principles.
Liberals need to push back on the dumb ideas that come from their children. The Democrats' problem is the energy of the parties with the young and the young are with the That's not good. So talk to your children and remind them you don't really want to live like your heroes in Hamas. All the shit you do all day, it was all made in America. Your smartphone, your Grubhub, your freedom to bitch about America, that's all American stuff. You tell your phone you want a milkshake and a guy brings it to your house. Please, you couldn't survive a week living in Intifadaville.
At the same time, Maher acknowledges that no country is perfect, but he emphasizes that context matters. He argues that many young people are exposed to constant criticism without a broader comparison to global conditions. This, he believes, can create unrealistic expectations and a disconnect between perception and reality. He points to examples of public figures who threaten to leave the country but rarely follow through, suggesting a gap between rhetoric and action.
You're like the girl in White Lotus who was going to live in a Buddhist monastery and then lasted one night.
Another concern Maher highlights is the influence of media and social platforms on younger audiences. He suggests that simplified narratives, where issues are framed in clear, good versus bad, terms, can make complex global topics seem easier than they are. This, he argues, can lead to strong opinions that are not always grounded in deeper understanding or real-world experience.
Seriously, this is a serious problem for Democrats. Less than 1 in 4 Democrats under 30 say they're proud to be an American. 54% say they're embarrassed by it. Embarrassed? Like America's your mom picking you up at school? You're embarrassed to be an American? Well, guess what? The feeling's mutual. Because you have no perspective. Is America perfect? No, of course not. No country is. Although don't get Tucker Carlson started on Russia.
Maher also questions the political effectiveness of this approach. While younger voters may be highly engaged online, they historically turn out in lower numbers during elections. Meanwhile, older voters, who participate more consistently, often respond better to messages focused on stability and progress. If messaging alienates these groups, he warns, it could have real electoral consequences.
Democrats seem to be afraid of everything. They were petrified of COVID, masking 2-year-olds who never would have died from it and keeping schools closed for far too long. They're definitely afraid of their kids, who from time immemorial have always come up with bad ideas. Their kids. Thinking up stupid is what they do. But parents used to tell them, that's ridiculous. The world doesn't work that way. Not today's parents. They say, you're right, honey. Gender is just a social construct. Please, sometimes your mother and I forget which one of us has.
Finally, Maher argues that leadership should guide public opinion rather than follow it. He suggests that some political messaging appears to mirror trends in youth culture instead of offering direction. Over time, this could weaken trust in leadership and shift the focus from informed decision-making to emotional validation. In his view, long-term success depends on balancing engagement with experience and clarity.